Hi guys, what's up and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to switch things up a bit, and instead of giving you guys horror movies for beginners, these are horror movies that will definitely get you into horror. So first off, I just wanted to say, I posted a video a few days back titled Horror Movies for Newbies, which was all about horror movies that I don't think are too scary and will definitely help people that want to get into horror but are too scared to and don't know where to begin get there. And I also want to say thank you to everybody that commented on that video. Here on the side, I'm going to put some horror movies that people in my comment section said were perfect for new horror fans, and I honestly agree with all of those. And to all those people that gave recommendations, I have linked their channels down below because they all have really awesome and cool channels. But today I wanted to change things, and I thought maybe there are people that want to get into horror but don't want to watch like the easy ones or the ones that aren't too scary. And today I just gave a list of really good horror movies that I feel like if you're skeptical about the horror genre and don't want to get really into it, if you watch one of these movies, I feel like after you're gonna want to watch more horror movies, because that's how it happened to me. When I first started watching horror movies, I watched some of these and I was like, oh my gosh, this is like the best genre ever. And today it's my favorite movie genre ever. So yeah, I just hope you guys enjoy this list. And again, in the comment section, if you guys have some really good horror movies that you think will make people that aren't into horror want to make that switch, then please go ahead and leave some in the comments. I have a lot of them, so let's get started. The first one is The Shining. Jack Torrance becomes winter caretaker at the isolated Overlook Hotel in Colorado, hoping to cure his writer's block. He settles in along with his wife Wendy and his son Danny, who is plagued by psychic premonitions. They realize this hotel has more to offer than just a normal stay. So if you guys don't know, The Shining is my favorite horror movie of all time, as well as one of my favorite movies of all time in general, and I really love this movie. I remember watching this when I was very young, and it completely changed my life, not to sound too dramatic, because I really think it's one of the best movies ever made. And if you're skeptical about watching more horror movies, I think this one is a great one to watch because it's honestly so good. Themes it talks about and the psychological elements, as well as Stanley Kubrick's amazing directing, and the way it gives you tension and anxiety is just amazing. And this one is just a special movie, and I think everybody should watch it. And I honestly think if you watch this movie, you're gonna be more inclined to watch more psychological thrillers. That's how I knew that psychological horror was one of my favorite subgenres, because I watched this movie and I was so in love with it, and I think you guys will be too. I don't think this one is scary in the sense that it'll keep you jumping, because it doesn't really have jump scares, but it's a more subtle way of scaring you, and it will just stay in your brain. The next movie I want to talk about is Poltergeist, which I actually just did a review on it if you guys want to watch more of my thoughts on that. Strange and creepy happenings beset an average California family when ghosts commune with them through the television set. Like I said in my review, this one is a very family-friendly horror movie. Even though I don't think it's scary whatsoever, it still has elements that make it amazing, and it has horror elements that are used really wisely here, and it has a very good feel energy, and I think this one's a great one to start. I have always loved this movie ever since I was little, and it's always been fun for me to watch, and I think it genuinely could help you guys get into the horror genre. I think everybody should watch this movie at least once in their life because it's really so much fun. The next one I want to talk about is American Psycho. In New York City in 1987, a handsome young urban professional, Patrick Bateman, lives a second life as a gruesome serial killer by night. I absolutely love this movie, and I also think everybody should watch this. This is probably also one of my favorite movies ever because I think it's so great. Just Christian Bale's acting alone is worth giving a watch. This is very different horror. It's a very smart film in itself, and it's gonna really let you guys know that horror movies sometimes are so smart, and I genuinely think that horror is one of the hardest to make plus write, because I think it's so hard to genuinely scare people, and I feel like horror movies said to have terrible writing. When I watch movies like American Psycho, I'm reminded of how good horror can really be, and I think you guys should definitely watch this one. This one also isn't that scary, it's just very gruesome because I mean, it's about a serial killer, but it's so funny, and I think this one is gonna really get you into comedy horror. The next movie I think will definitely get you into horror is A Nightmare on Elm Street. In Wes Craven's classic slasher film, several Midwestern teenagers fall prey to Freddy Krueger, a disfigured midnight mangler who preys on the teenagers in their dreams, which in turn kills them in reality. This one is definitely a great movie for somebody that's looking for something different in horror, because this takes something as simple as a slasher movie and elevates it 100%. It's so original, and the idea of making the villain, the killer, get people at night is so terrifying, because at night everybody feels safe, you know. When you're scared, you want to go to sleep, but in this reality you cannot go to sleep, and it's something that at one point you're going to have to sleep, and you see that evident with our protagonist in the movie, and it's just awesome. I think this movie is fantastic, and I have to at one point do a review of every single Nightmare on Elm Street movie because I love them so much, and just the idea of it is amazing. And if you guys liked Scream, I think you guys are really gonna like this one. It is made by the same person, Wes Craven, which I love him so much. He's an awesome inspiration. Yeah, this one's awesome. I will admit though, this one did freak me out when I first saw it, so I do think this one's like more scary in my opinion. Plus, the good thing about this one is that it has multiple movies, so you can just binge them afterwards. The next one I'm going to talk about is Insidious. Parents take drastic measures when it seems their new home is haunted and their son is possessed by a malevolent entity. I will just off the bat say this movie freaked me out when I saw it, and it sometimes still does, so if you don't want to get scared, I don't think you should watch this one. But it is such a good movie, and the great thing is it also has more movies that you can watch. They're pretty good. I haven't seen them in a very long time, but for the most part I had fun with all of them. But this one is really good, and if you want to get into that paranormal horror, this one is a great one to get into because they do an amazing job directing and just writing this movie, and it's not just a paranormal movie, it's much more than that, and what they do is just crazy, and by the time you finish the movie you're gonna really want to watch the next one, and my job is complete. I got you into horror. And the next movie I want to talk about is also directed by James Wan, The Conjuring. There's a theme here, maybe you should watch all James Wan horror. In 1970, paranormal investigators and demonologists Lorraine and Ed Warren are summoned to the house of Carolyn and Roger Perrin. The parents and their 5 daughters have recently moved into a secluded farmhouse where a supernatural presence has made itself known. I also did a review of this one, and I'm working to hopefully do Conjuring 2 soon. This is one of my favorite horror movie franchises ever, and just one of my favorite horror movies, and the universe that they make within that is amazing. And just similar to Insidious, by the time you finish you're gonna want to explore the other Conjuring series movies, and I think this one is just amazing and exceptional, and it is on the scary side, but I think it's really worth it if you want to just try and experiment the paranormal horror side, because I think it's really fun. And this one also dabbles into true life, inspired by true events horror, and I think that's fun, and I always like those movies because afterwards I'm just researching to see what's fact, what's fiction. And the last one I want to talk about is The Others. Grace, the devoutly religious mother of Anne and Nicholas, moves her family to the English coast during World War II. She awaits word on her missing husband while protecting her children from a rare photosensitivity disease that causes the sun to harm them, and then claims she has been seeing spirits and hearing stuff in the home. I love this movie. This is also one of my favorite horror movies, and I actually haven't watched it in quite a long time, so I really want to revisit it, but I had to put it on this list because it left such a huge impact on me. Just alone, the way this movie is so smart, and I think if you like a movie that will mind bend you, this is definitely the one to go. And again, similar to how I said it in Insidious, it does jump scares right, especially false jump scares, and I think this is just a fantastic movie. It's a really awesome take on a haunted house movie. I think once you all watch this movie, you're gonna either love horror more or just love it and just want to watch more horror movies, because yeah, this is an awesome movie, and I don't want to say more because I think going into it blind is much better because I was just pleasantly surprised the entire time. Also, the acting is fantastic. Thank you guys so much for watching today's video. I hope you guys really enjoyed it, and I hope you guys liked my picks for horror movies that will definitely get you into horror. And if you guys haven't seen these movies, please go ahead and watch them, whether you're already way into the horror genre or you're just starting out, because these are amazing horror movies to watch, and I really hope you guys have fun watching them. And again, if you guys have any more recommendations for movies for people to watch to get them into horror, please let me know down below. And thank you guys so much for your support in my last video. You guys really liked it, so I just decided to change things up a little bit, but keep it kind of similar for this one because I just had so many good horror movies to talk about. Thanks so much for watching my channel, and I'll make sure to see you guys tomorrow. Bye guys!